Welcome back, folks, to the Membership Machine Show. This is a special. It's a 2 or 3 part. I think it's probably going to be a 2-part, but I leave that to my co-host, Haroon, about that. In this particular special, we're going to be talking about the best alternatives to BuddyBoss, cloud or self-hosted solutions. I think we've got a good mixture. I'm going to let Haroon introduce himself. So, Haroon, would you like to introduce yourself to the tribe?
Certainly. Thank you, Jonathan. And hi, everyone. I've been working in the tech ecosystem for around past decade and a half, and with WordPress specifically for around, with WordPress specifically for around a decade and a half, and the tech ecosystem for around 2.5 decades. I've mixed the two up. Over these years, I've worked with pretty much every tool of note out there for WordPress, and that has helped me identify which ones are the best for the jobs. And at times, a WordPress tool is not the best for you. You might want to go for something that isn't WordPress based. So just because it's out there in WordPress doesn't mean you have to use it. It's all about choosing the right tool for the job, and that's what we're going to discuss in today's session as well.
Yeah, I think we're on both the same Pareto sheet. We try and be as unbiased as we can. So we're going to go straight into it, folks. So let's start off. With the cloud-based alternatives, and I think the most established and the oldest competitor to BuddyBoss in the cloud is Mighty Networks. First of all, would you agree with that? And second, what do you see as some of its core strengths and weaknesses, Haroon?
Yes, I agree that Mighty Network is a pretty mighty player in the game, and they've been around for a while, and they've built a pretty good product. I mean, there's no denying that. It's got pretty much every feature you might want from a social network of your own out there. And in terms of features, well, I mean, it does have everything, and you don't really need to worry about hosting. You don't really need to worry about performance optimization. You don't really need to worry about whether it will scale as your traffic grows, or whether you'd have to worry about infrastructure and all of that. So, I mean, there are two types of users who want social network. There's one type who want absolute control over everything, and full customization, getting custom featured, built and whatnot. It might not be for them.
No.
And then there's the other type of user who just doesn't want to worry about customizing everything. They want something that works. And secondly, they don't want to worry about infrastructure. They don't want to worry about hosting. They don't want to worry about scaling. So for them, maybe they want to pay that extra money to have that peace of mind that, hey, it's just going to work. It doesn't have to have that very specific customization that they really want. It just has to get the job done. For them, Mighty Network works in a mighty fine way.
You can't resist that, listeners and viewers. I'm going to let him off because we have known one another for a while. So I'm just going to let that go over me, folks. I agree with you. I think one caveat about this is around the whole. I think what attracts a lot of people, apart from what you've just so clearly pointed out, is the app situation, and I think you can, and that's what attracts a lot of people to Mighty Networks, because on the base price, which is $39, and the business $199, you do get access to an app,
Yes.
which is ISO and Android. I think I'm pretty sure about that. But
Yes.
the thing that makes it a little bit complicated is that it has Almighty Networks branding all over it. You got to go up to Mighty Pro, and that's price on request, and I think that's
Yes.
between $20,000 and $30,000.
Oh, yes.
And I don't think people realise that because, for understandable reasons, Mighty Networks don't really point that out. There's the enormous, and I'm not saying that's unjustified, because if you tried to get your own custom built app for ISO or both Android as well, you could spend at least, I don't know, depending on
50
what.
grand?
Well, yeah, 20 to 50. It just really depends what you're looking for,
Yes.
doesn't it?
Yes.
Do you think, I'm not having a go at them for that, but I think that's what causes a little bit confusion with people. They don't realise that they're going to get an app, but it's not going to be white labelled. And if they want
Yes.
that for Mighty Networks, it's a big jump, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is. And I think it's justified because, I mean, for the value they're delivering at that scale. Um, if I were selling a service like this, I would price it around in the same ballpark for white labeling, because then essentially they're losing out on all the branding they're getting for selling the app cheap. So the reason they're giving the app cheap for the lower tiers is because, hey, it's a vector for, it's like a placement for their ad. It's a placement for their marketing. Others who want something similar know right away that, hey, this is from Mighty Networks, so we might as well go to Mighty Networks.
Yep. So let's go on to one that got. You're going, sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. We didn't really go over its features. I just summed it up by saying it has pretty
Oh
much
yeah,
everything you'd want from
please
a
go
community.
on. You know,
But yeah,
give
I mean,
something.
I think that should sum it up. But like to elaborate a bit, it's got, you know, chat features. It's got community feed, as you'd expect from a social network. You can also host events on it, and courses. Yes, it has its own e-learning system built in, and also you can build custom web pages as well beyond the mere social networking component. So it does give you a CMS of sort, not exactly nearly as robust of a CMS as WordPress, but a basic CMS to set up your web presence, in addition to all the community features as well.
What's your feelings when it comes to marketing automation and email and all
So
that side?
it does have some it does give you its own infrastructure for email customizations and customization and all, but from what I recall, having used it quite a while back now, because I haven't been using many of these hosted options lately, it wasn't as diverse, as feature rich as we have available in the WordPress ecosystem, with the likes of Fluent CRM and the likes of Groundhog and all that you can pair with BuddyBoss.
When it comes to the other features, because I think, first of all, how would you compare it to BuddyBoss when it comes to feature set? Or do you think there's any one particular area that BuddyBoss isn't quite as good as Mighty Networks, or is the other round, or are they very comparable in what they offer?
They are very comparable, but like with the Mighty Networks, the LMS is their LMS that's built in. With BuddyBoss, you can choose to use LearnDash, Lifter, Tutor, build your own using ACF and plug it in. So, I mean, the flexibility with BuddyBoss is like you've got way more flexibility. And I just gave one example of LMS. There are other things, other particular tools for different purposes, which with BuddyBoss you can integrate a tool of your choice. With the Mighty, you're stuck with whatever they've built.
Yeah, when it comes to BuddyBoss, when it comes to LMS, we tend to advise that they use LearnDash, because if they ever want to go down the app route,
Yes.
it's going to be the most easiest vector to get them to that end, because BuddyBoss offers a whole other side of their company where they offer an app. Is it still only Apple OS iOS? Is it? Does BuddyBoss still not offer Android? Is that correct?
It does. I think it does offer Android as well.
Android now as well.
Let me just quickly confirm. BuddyBoss.
Because, like I say, listeners and viewers, BuddyBoss do offer a very competitive app solution. It was initially only for iOS.
Yes, BuddyBoss does offer Android apps as well.
All right, they offer both now, which is great.
Yes.
And
so does Mighty. Mighty also offers both iOS and Android.
Yeah. So when it comes to the BuddyBoss offering, when it comes to the app, do you know what they're charging for that?
I don't have the latest figures on the top of my mind, but let's check. BuddyBoss app. I'm quite forgetful with numbers.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go any further.
So, like, I might give a client a quote today, and tomorrow, while discussing it with them over a call, I might need to just look at my quote to recall what numbers I had given them the day before. So you can imagine.
Yes.
Okay. So their app offering starts at 179 a month, paid annually. And that does not include the done for you service. It's like you do it. They give you the infrastructure, you build it. And the done for you service starts off with the same 179 per month plus 1999, so 2000 a one time for them doing it for you. And then there's the developer plan, which gives you more customizable design. That comes with $299 one time and $278 per month. It gives you way more customization options.
So it's a very competitive deal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is indeed.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Circle.
Yeah, let's move to Circle. I think they pitched it when they were launching, and time flies. So I think it's been around. It's not been around as long as Mighty Networks, and it was pitched. But I think they went a slightly different route. They went the kind of, when it comes to learning management systems, they went the kind of teachable route, where it was kind of a bolt on. You could bolt it onto your WordPress website on and offer your community and keep your WordPress. They went that kind of vector. And I think it's been quite popular, isn't it? I don't think they offer an app, do they?
No, I don't think Circle offers any app. Yeah.
So what's your experience with Circle? Have you got any?
Yeah, I have used Circle on several communities of which I've been a part as a user, and one deployment where I actually was the admin, and it's nice. It's not as robust as Mighty Networks, but it does not exactly aim to be like a drop-in replacement of Mighty Networks or BuddyBoss even. It focuses more on community and discussion rather than a social network with a timeline and feed and all. It's more about giving your community different sections, different learning resources, and it does operate more on a chat-like interface, if you will. So more Discord than Mighty Networks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of more focused, isn't it, at its particular, where Mighty Networks, like some of the other cloud-based learning management systems, like we're going to talk about one next, Kajabi, it's a kind of Swiss Army knife, isn't it? It's offering a complete solution, isn't it? I think Circle doesn't offer that. It's more focused, but it positions itself with that Pacific focus. And then it offers some good integrations
Oh,
with
yes.
third-party solutions where Mighty
Yes.
Networks wants to be the complete solution in its own
Yes.
mind. Is
Yes.
that
That's what I was going to come to as well. Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah.
And pricing. It's a that's one of the strengths of Mighty Networks. I can see because that $39 start price, and then they got the business 199, where Circle starts at 99, and then it's got business at
Yeah.
219,
To something. Yeah.
and then it's got enterprise at 399. I don't know what you get at the enterprise. I also think its interface it's just slightly got a slightly different feel of being a little, and it's all down to personal taste. I just think it's got a slightly more modern feel to it.
More minimal and modern, both at the same time. It doesn't seem like bulky with everything but the kitchen sink in it. And both Mighty Networks and BuddyBoss may end up feeling like that. Whereas Circle it just feels more optimized, more streamlined in terms of user experience. So which may or may not be a good thing depending on your use case and your audience. For some type of audience, you may want a more Facebookish experience, and for other audiences, more Circle experience would suit them better. But like the integrations part of Circle is like it integrates with very well with WordPress itself. It integrates with several third-party membership platforms. It integrates even with Kajabi. So I mean, it's makes you feel like it's more open and
I
more
think
inviting as well.
Yeah, that they kind of they attempted to build their market by integrating with other existing platforms, and
Yes.
you could totally understand why they did that. On to the next.
It also integrates with Facebook and Twitter, so you could import Facebook and Twitter feed into your Circle.
What
as
more
well.
could you ask for? What more?
Absolutely.
There you go. There you go. Forget. Oh yeah, that's one. Thanks for that, Graham. We got some visitors. There are transaction fees.
Yes.
Yes. Well, we're WordPress people, so we are bound to forget, aren't we?
Tom is here as well. Hi, Tom.
Yes. Hello, Tom. We've got the CEO of BuddyBoss, so we better be nice to BuddyBoss. We'll be nice to BuddyBoss. We were very nice.
Always nice to BuddyBoss.
We were very nice.
Like
nice to
focused
last.
around BuddyBoss primarily.
Yes. Oh, on to the next one. Kajabi communities.
Kajabi. Yeah.
You got Kajabi, and then you got Kajabi communities. Because I think I'm correct in saying I can't remember the name of the startup that they bought, but and I think it might have been 6 months to a year ago, because time is 2023 is flown. But they bought a startup because they wanted to get into the boxing ring with Mighty Networks. That was my feeling. I also think the whole thing around community became a bit of a buzzword when it came around membership, because the big problem with membership is keeping the members, and building community is seen and does have a high level of truth about it. Gives you the opportunity to offer more value and reduce churn, because I think churn is the four-letter word when it comes to membership websites. Kajabi community, they bought this startup and brought in the founders, and they've been integrating it in Kajabi, but I don't know too much about how
it was Vibely, right?
Yes, that was it.
Yeah. Vibely was what they purchased. Yeah.
Do you know?
Interestingly,
go on.
Sorry, please go ahead.
No, I've got no words of wisdom. You're the expert, not me.
Admittedly, I'm no expert on Kajabi communities. I would I would probably call myself acquainted with it, but I haven't really worked on it. But hey, I mean, as part of the industry, you've got to know what others are offering, even if you're not using them. And Kajabi communities, Vibely, which they integrated into their system, I mean, it doesn't look bad. It seems like a pretty solid product. And interestingly, they call their communities, like in their system, they call them circles. So that's like a nod to circle as well.
Well, maybe they're aiming more at Circle than Mighty
Yeah.
Networks. I don't know, but
Yeah.
Kajabi. My only how to put this is that they're very. It's not my peeve. My slight peeve about Kajabi is nothing around Kajabi communities. It's their marketing spin about how easy it is, because. But the fact is, and I suppose you can apply this to Mighty Networks as well, but I've got to be really nice to Mighty Networks, Haroon, because I've got another show tomorrow where I've got a true Mighty Network expert joining me. So I'm going to have to be on my best behaviour, Haroon, because if I start saying nasty things about cloud solution, that's not going to go down with my guest, Haroon. So
well, as much as
they sell how easy it is to set up.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's really dependent on your experience, isn't it? I think if you're experienced with WordPress or Squarespace and you've knocked up a few websites, I don't think you're going to have that much problems. But if you haven't got a lot of experience, I think you're going to struggle with Kajabi, aren't you?
Well, as much as I am an advocate of all things WordPress, because hey, I mean, I make my living out of all things WordPress, but the barrier to entry in terms of technical experience, I've always felt that these SaaS platforms, they often reduce it for the end user. And that's one of their USPs. That's one of the reasons why they sell. WordPress, no matter how you want to advertise its famous 5-minute install, setting up anything on WordPress beyond installing WordPress is a quite an engaging process, and not every user would find it a streamlined experience. For many, it's just intimidating. And with these SaaS tools, compared to WordPress, the barrier to entry for non-technical users is far lower. But yes, Kajabi, I mean, you're not just getting communities generally with Kajabi. You might want to have their LMS as well, their for courses, their coaching section, their courses section, and then they have a coaching section for coaches who want to teach live and all. And then there's the whole membership section and their podcast section and whatnot. And then payments and websites and pages, and then their email marketing solution. So funnels. So it's like it's a monolith of its own, of which communities is a small part. But communities has been increasingly becoming a more and more important part of all of Kajabi's offerings. What I like about Kajabi communities is it just also like circles. Like Circle, it feels more streamlined. It feels, in terms of the UX, I would rate it higher than Mighty Networks and Circle. And it takes some of the best UX bits of Circle and the functionality bits of Mighty Networks, and it combines the two together. That's how I see the communities part. And it's a pleasure to see it in action. It's beautifully designed.
I would have worded it in that way, but there we go. But
why not?
On to the last part before we go into the second part.
We didn't discuss its pricing though.
Oh yeah, it just seems the standard price. I don't think you can put me right here, but it looked like it's part of the standard pricing, which is the monthly. I'm going by the monthly here. Basic is 149, growth is 199, and you got Pro 399. The thing is, when it comes to the basic, folks, want to keep it totally fair, is they've got some quite strict restraints about how many courses you can have with the basic, and you have to look at them all and study them a little bit, because I think what I was saying about Kajabi probably also can apply with Mighty Networks. Is you got to look at the different plans and really study them, because that's why they have the different levels. But I think for what you get with Kajabi, it's not bad value. It just depends if you're going to use everything that it provides. Because that's why they're charging 149, because they offer, and it really. So let's go on to the next, which is a strange one,
Discord.
really. Is I've got a love-hate with Discord.
Same here.
I really does my head in a little bit, but on the other hand, I'm going to throw it over to you. What's your feelings? Can you explain what it is? You get top marks if you can.
So to me personally, Discord is always going to be something like modern version of IRC, or but at the same time, IRC was like way too much of a non-business chat service. But then I knew businesses who had their IRC channels, and then
the darling of the dark web.
Oh yes, and then there's the whole free node IRC
That's
network.
just got us banned from YouTube. I apologise. I'm going to keep off those statements. I've just probably triggered off their AI monitoring tool, haven't I?
Yeah. And then there was this whole free node IRC network for. I mean, it's still there. That was built to host chat rooms pertaining to free and open source projects. So Discord to me feels more like a place for gamers to hang out, a place for developers to hang out, a place for geeks on a particular subject to hang out and chat. It's like the primary focus has always seemed to me to be more like interactive chat, live chat, rather than community features like boards and forums and all. Although it does have those features, but like primarily people use it for chat. And that's been my experience, and it's great for that. I really like it for that. But like when it tries to do so many other things and it doesn't really do them that well, I just consider it as a chat platform primarily.
Yeah, I think you put that really well, because I think because of this type of genre, there's three main players, folks. There's obviously Facebook groups, which is totally different feel and usage model than Discord, right? And it's got its strengths and its weaknesses. Facebook groups is, it's good. Maybe it's a good start to try and build a community, but if you start to get traction, you should look at moving off as quick as possible. And then you got Slack, and I use Slack all the time, and I know some. There's a couple of very large WordPress groups utilize Slack, and a couple other groups. There's some large communities on Slack, but I would never consider using Slack, because I've got a total love-hate relationship on steroids compared to Discord about Slack. I think Slack's an awful interface. I would never attempt to build a community on Slack. I would rather use Discord. But other people are highly successful. But they're the three main of this type, isn't it? It's Facebook groups, Slack, and Discord, isn't it?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I agree.
And then you got the ones that we've just talked about, that are cloud offering.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get off the cloud solution. Let's go to a much nicer scenario. Let's get back to WordPress, shall we?
Our comfort zone.
Yeah, I can get into my comfort zone again. I feel a bit dirty. No, I'm only kidding.
We've
So
gone out and we've cheated on our beloved spouse with all those hot sassies out there, and now we're back home and we're gonna have a warm meal
you're
prepared by.
skating on thin ice here. If your beloved wife hears this, she's not going to be about your hotties. She's not going to be too impressed, is she?
Sassies rather,
Sassy
because those
hottie.
are SaaS platforms. See what I did there?
Yeah, yeah. Let's keep moving. Buddy. So try and explain this buddy press. What is it, and what isn't it? Over to you, Hank.
BuddyPress is where the whole WordPress-based community building all started, and it was great for what it offered back in the day, which seemed revolutionary in a self-hosted platform like WordPress back in the day. But then it just slacked, if you will. And it just didn't keep up with the ages, didn't keep up with the times. And there was a need for someone to either take over the BuddyPress project and really pace it up to make it go with the modern times, or fork it and make a new one. So what BuddyBoss did, which was a great decision, rather than reinventing the wheel from scratch, they took BuddyPress and went with it. But even today, if you don't need all of the flashy features of BuddyBoss, which are great, but they're not meant for every community. They might not even fit every community well. So there's always BuddyPress, and there are plenty of old yet reliable themes out there that work really well with BuddyPress. So if BuddyPress offers all you need, by all means, why not go for it?
Yeah, I see where you're coming, but I think option 2 is a better in some ways. Well, I'll be interested to see what your thoughts. I agree with everything you say. It was the grandfather of all these solutions that are self-hosted. The developer, I won't say he's a friend of mine, but he's been on my other podcast a few times, and he's a great guy. It really got it just didn't get the support and funding that it required, and BuddyBoss forked it, and they've done an excellent job, and they've just built it out. It's a bit. I think some interest has gone back into it lately, but I think they've just left it a bit too late myself.
Yeah.
They are my views. Let's look at number 2. Number 2, I'll be interested to see what you think. And it's from my friends, Lifter LMS. Lifter LMS is one of the leading learning management systems.
Sorry, before you proceed, can we bring number 4 next to number 1 instead? Because BuddyPress and BBPress would probably be discussed together before we move on to the others.
Yeah, I was thinking that you might say that, and I was debating it myself. So yeah, I see what you're doing. So what's your thoughts on BBPress?
So BBPress was there was BBPress before there was BuddyPress, if I recall correctly. BBPress initially was made to bring bulletin board like PHP BB. I think you might remember PHP BB was probably one of the most famous bulletin board tools out there, and several major publications also used it. For example, XDA Developers, which was a huge portal of like an immense community of customizers of Android and other smartphone ROMs, and hacking their smartphones, adding features that were not intended for them. I used to work for them. I used to write for the XDA portal back in the day. So their community was built on BBPress, and their community was built on PHP BB, and BBPress was an attempt in the WordPress ecosystem to bring some of those features, admittedly nowhere close to what PHP BB offered, but some of the core features, forums basically, forums and users, user profiles to interact with forums, some semblance of basic user profiles and forums and interactions. So BBPress was built with that in mind. And then BuddyPress was later built as a companion, if you will, to BBPress to bring along social networking features. So the two were often installed together. They often went hand in hand, and they had very, very close tie-ins. For example, the BuddyPress interface would very neatly show BBPress communities as part of the social overall social network, in addition to the groups features. And they would integrate the settings together as well. So yeah, it was a pretty good tool for back in the day, but now it's still being used widely. WordPress.org itself uses it widely, but it just doesn't feel as robust as more modern options out there.
Well, it's had the same fate as BuddyPress, hasn't it?
Yes, yes. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it's still very, very usable and stable enough and deployed very widely. So again, if what it offers is all you need, then I highly recommend not seeking anything beyond it, because why complicate things when all you need is something simple and it's there and it's been worked on by hundreds of thousands and it has become very stable over the years and tried and tested.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's have a look at number 3 then. I'll be interested in your thoughts about this, because I think it's a good kind of stepping stone, because I think it's problematic if you started off with a Facebook group, I think and you're in the membership coaching, the quicker you can get them off Facebook onto a platform, your own platform, the better you are. But on the same context, I think committing to something like BuddyBoss too early can be problematic, because it's a bit of a beast. It's a fantastic beast. It's a bit like choosing a Great Dane as your first dog. If you never owned a dog before,
or a Saint Bernard,
or you're Saint Bernard, or I had for 12 years a Newfoundland. But I had dogs before that, like choosing a Newfoundland. They're not the best dogs to start off with. That's my feeling around BuddyBoss. I think as long as you know what you're getting into and it's the right tool, I think it's fabulous. But so to start off and allowing you to get people off something like Facebook groups, Lifter LMS has an add-on called Social Learning, and I think it's a good stepping stone. What's your feelings?
I've never used it. This first disclaimer, never used it. But I've seen it before and it seems very promising. It seems like they're not trying to do too much. They're trying to bring the right amount of features for their particular type of audience, like giving the set of community features that would be most useful to e-learning communities, which is their niche as well. So I mean, they've decided not to be the everything of a social networking platform for WordPress, but rather niche focused e-learning based community platform, which is great, which is what I really like, because such niche based focus can really help them distinguish themselves from BuddyBoss, and at the same time defining different audience for them, rather than just being another BuddyBoss wannabe or BuddyBoss competitor.
It's all very case dependent, folks, because when it comes to a lot of people around community, they get very focused around the app functionality, and it at the right stage, it probably can help your business. But I have a lot of people talking about app and the right choice, and they've hardly got a community on their website or on the internet, and they're talking about apps. And I think to myself, you've got other things to concentrate on before you get to that stage. But you learn you have to bite your tongue, because you don't want to discourage people. So I only volunteer my views now if they're asked for, because you don't want to come across. But I think it's a good stepping stone lift to LMS social learning. Right,
I
on.
wouldn't just
Yeah,
call
go on.
it merely a stepping stone. Maybe it's all you need.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
that.
So like again, every community is unique, has its own needs, and
Yeah,
every founder
yeah.
of a community would have different aims for that community. Some might not want it to become another social network.
Yeah, I think that's well put. Yeah, thanks for that. So
Welcome.
on to one that I don't know. I think they're French, are they not? Pit, Pizzo,
Peepso.
Pizza.
Peepso.
Are they French?
I'm not too sure, to be
In the
honest.
back of, I won't hold it against them. I got a love heap with the French. I lived in France for 18 months. Bless their little hearts. Almost got arrested by some French police officers for speeding.
Gendarmes.
Gendarmes, yeah, they could.
Uh-huh.
They wanted to fine me. They're big on fining you on the spot, and I didn't have the money, so they threatened to throw me into a French prison for 2 days. And if you've ever been in a French prison, you literally do anything to avoid it, because they're not like British prisons. I can tell you that now.
That sounds like our Pakistani prisons.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that either, no. Right. So what do you know about these people? Because I don't know that much. I think you've got a lot more knowledge. So like to share it?
So I've used this on some of my biggest builds back in the day. Like last time I used it was I think in 2018 or 19, I think. So yeah, it's been a few years. That client eventually vanished on me. He still owes me some money, but so the last experience, he doesn't owe me a lot, maybe just like $1,000 or $1,500, but still, I mean, it counts. But so I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to name his business. But I do remember uh, Peepso was a breeze to work with, as long as you did not try to make it do something beyond its rather extensive set of features offered. Anything beyond that, going outside of what they offer. For example, I've customized things to a way higher level with BuddyBoss than I have with Peepso. But in terms of features, I would say it was very, very feature rich. And some of the features that it had back in the day were added to BuddyBoss only later on. And its chat feature, for example, that's been out there for quite a while. BuddyBoss still hasn't added that level of live chat support the way Peepso has had for quite some time.
All right. Well, that's a good observation. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
But are you saying that it offered a lot, but the core coding of it made it, if it was outside their own extensibility, if you're adding custom coding, the hooks
Yeah.
and the things just wasn't as,
Oh, yes.
didn't offer the ability that BuddyBoss offered.
Yeah. And I think one reason for that could be the inheritance BuddyBoss brought along from BuddyPress, because a lot of custom coded features, custom code snippets out there for BuddyPress accumulated over years and years of users coding those features themselves, because there was no other option back then. And that has built like quite a few huge repositories of such customizations, which you can then take and customize further. So you don't have to write those code snippets from scratch. And that gives BuddyBoss and its parent BuddyPress an advantage of huge amount of community contributed custom code snippets. So maybe that's why I felt that I just didn't have that level of custom coded like that level of repositories of custom code available to use as starting point to customize Peepso to
Yeah.
that extent.
Well,
could be that.
the thing I give to BuddyBoss is their decision to go into this app area, because they didn't have to really, did they?
Yeah,
And I think marketing technically, it's probably been a very difficult thing for them to attempt to do. And you just got to admire them to have that focus to try and do that. And I think they're
yeah,
pulling it off.
yeah,
And it's very attractive prices. So you always got to give them top marks for that, haven't you?
yeah. And with Peepso, I don't recall if their app was proper native app. It was at least back then, if I recall correctly, it was more of a sort of a wrapper around
Yeah,
HTML,
that
and
was mine. I don't know
and
if they've moved. I'd be surprised if they have, but they might have. The price is they've
and
got
it worked. I
yeah.
mean, it got the
Well,
job
the
done for
truth
some,
is,
but
for a lot
the
of
UX,
circumstances, that's all you do need, isn't it?
yeah,
But it's like a case by case, isn't it?
yeah. But the user experience, objectively speaking, of an app that is just a wrapper around a web interface is nowhere near a natively coded app. Yeah, there's a
And
huge
I think
difference.
the beauty of the BuddyBoss offering is at a price that isn't ridiculous. So, because
Yeah,
a lot of people spend a lot of money on a custom app, and they can still have a good business, but the app never really pushes it to the next stage, does it?
yeah,
Oh, Graham has told us it is a rapper.
yeah.
Good. Thank you, Graham.
Thank you, Graham. And
Um,
on the
go on.
subject of apps, so for those starting off with, be it Peepso, be it BuddyBoss, be it any of the other WordPress-based solutions, I often recommend that if their budget doesn't allow it to go all in with the app, they should first go with just a web-based community
Yeah.
and add progressive what's the name? PWA, progressive web apps. Yeah, PWA features which add some sort of notifications and the ability to remove the browser layout and just wrap it in an interface without an address bar and without any of the other browser elements, and add a shortcut to the home screen so it behaves more like an app. And with PWAs, you can also add caching, add offline support so that the last state is retained for use even offline. And then once you're online again, it syncs with whatever you've done in the app. And that's a very good start for those who don't have the funds to or don't want to risk the funds to go all in with the app from the very beginning. Let your community grow, see how they use your features, and then once you have some sort of a growth record, then invest that money and go all in with the app. So PWA is always a great thing to consider.
Yeah, great advice. I'm going to throw this one in. Do you know much about this solution, Passion.io?
No.
No.
But let's take a look right away. Why not? While we're here.
It's been on
Might
my
as
radar.
well.
Been on my radar. Passion. It's a web aimed at membership. It's another solution where it's drag and drop, non-code solution. I've had a look at this. I've never used it in anger. And
It does look interesting.
it does.
But yeah, we'll have to take a deeper look later.
Right. I think we're going to wrap this up. I think we've covered the BuddyBoss in these two episodes. Go on, sorry.
I want to add one more thing before we wrap this up. That was not part of this list, and it didn't come to my mind earlier when we were discussing the whole list. There's a plugin as well, and it's called I think Users WP or User WP. So for some sort of basic community profile features, you can use User WP as well to like get user profile features in any WordPress site you have. And that often also adds a community touch to whatever you've built, if any membership system of that sort. So at least it gives you user profiles. And if user profiles are all you need, then you might as well go with user WP, because it's lightweight. It's very, very lightweight. It doesn't try to do everything. And it gives you user profiles, because I remember back in the day, once I needed user profiles and I went with the, I think it was BuddyPress, just for the profiles bit.
Yeah.
Either BuddyPress or BuddyBoss, when it was overkill. So now users WP is a great option. And then there's another new kid on the block, which is trying to do a lot and apparently succeeding at a lot very well. It's called Voxel, VOXEL. GetVoxel is their domain, getvoxel.com, I think. So they recently also added some community features. So what Voxel basically does is it's sort of like a toolbox of sorts. It gives you CPTs, it gives you custom fields, it gives you front-end forms to build submissions based on those custom fields. So it's a bit like Jet Engine of Crocoblock.
All right.
At the same time, it adds user profiles to the mix. And now recently, they've added sort of a community feed. So you take the building blocks you want, you build whatever you want with them. It gives you the tools to build it. It doesn't give you a pre-built, like BuddyBoss, like membership site. You use the building blocks you want and you build it. And the page builder they use is their completely customized version of free Elementor, which they've stripped down to the bare essentials. They've taken away the elements that they don't need, and they've heavily performance optimized it. So it's a pretty good starting point if you want to build something custom with CPTs, with custom fields, with your own profile fields and all. So for those who really want full control,
put the
they
link,
can use that.
Put the link into Slack, will you? So I can
Yeah.
add it to the show notes. Right.
I think we should do a show on Voxel sometime as well, because it deserves a show of its own. And I'm gonna share the comment in chat, share the link in chat as well.
Well, put it into Slack, will you?
And I'll also put it in Slack for you. Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to wrap up this show. I was thinking our next show. Are you up for talking about marketplaces on WordPress, the different options?
Yeah. That's a very good topic to cover. Yeah,
because I've written a post about it recently. I had a couple of people ask me some questions about the different players, and there seems to be a few of them in WordPress, don't there?
Yeah.
So, Haroon, how can people find out more about you and what you're up to, Haroon?
Oh, they can visit hqraja.com. That is H for Haroon, Q, my middle initial, RAJA. hqraja.com, and email me at haroon@hqraja.com as well. And or find me on social networks as HQ Raja as well. I'm HQ Raja on Facebook, HQ Raja on Twitter, HQ Raja everywhere.
That's nice to know. I've done a full post. I'll be adding the video to the post, and it have all the links that we've discussed and all the details in that post, plus the extra options that Haroon has mentioned at the end of the show. We're going to wrap it up. Our next special is going to, like I say, going to be about marketplaces and the different things you need to know, and the options should be very informative. I've enjoyed this special. We'll see you soon, folks. Bye.